Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're diving into another Dear Katie episode, and this one is for those of you who find you have different sexual desires than your partner. Whether it be how often you want to have sex, the type of sex you want to have, how you want to explore within sexuality, or just a feeling of you're supposed to, so that's why you do it. This episode is for you. So grab a warm drink and let's dive in. Welcome to Relationship Reset, Reignite, Reconnect, Rebuild, the podcast for high-achieving couples who want to transform their relationship from surviving to thriving. I'm Katie Russler, a relationship coach and counselor with over 15 years of experience helping busy, overwhelmed couples rebuild connection, trust, and intimacy. If you've been together for years and feel stuck on autopilot, disconnected and frustrated by constant miscommunication, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll explore practical tools, relatable stories, and strategies to help you reignite the spark, rebuild your bond, and create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Because no matter how long you've been together, it's never too late to hit reset. Let's dive in. Here's the letter. Dear Katie, my husband and I have been married for 20 years. I'd like some advice on how to navigate different sex drive levels. Most of our marriage, through various phases of life, we have been on different wavelengths with how often we want sex. He would like me to be more interested and initiate or do extra things more often. But when I'm overly satiated in this area, I find it makes it even more difficult for me to bring it up or do fun things. If I'm already having sex way more often than I desire it, then any interest for me would be fake. I know this leads to him feeling undesired, even if he gets sex often. After all this time, everything feels like a compromise where neither of us are totally getting what we want. Any suggestions? Thanks so much, Off Kilter. Okay, Off Kilter, I am so glad you submitted this because this is a heavy topic that many couples struggle with the longer they're together. And there's a variety of reasons why. And though in your situation, it's your husband who desires sex more, it isn't always this way. We tend to think that it's the man who always wants more. And we will discuss why today. But I do want to draw attention to those of you who are like, actually, I'm the woman in the relationship and I have more of a desire. You can still use this episode to support you. So just wanted to give that caveat. Okay, dear Off Kilter, let's talk about desire. So the research shows that differences in libido are one of the most common sexual issues couples face. And like I shared, this is one I hear a lot from the couples I work with. I just want to normalize first that this isn't a sign that anything's wrong in a relationship. We often tend to think, well, wow, we're having differences in our sexual desires, or there's an issue around frequency, and that must mean our relationship is having issues. And it isn't, though it can feel that way. Sexual desire ebbs and flows over time. For men and women, it's fluid, it's not fixed, even though it might feel this way with your partner. And external pressures like kids, work, stress, aging can really deeply impact our desire. So there's nothing wrong actually that you have different needs. But we need to talk about why men often see connection as physical or related to sex, and women often see it as emotional or mental first. Many men are taught that emotional intimacy is kind of dangerous or unmanly, or there's something wrong with it, right? So from a very young age, sex becomes the socially acceptable way to seek closeness and vulnerability with our partner. As a boy grows up, they aren't usually encouraged to build skills around emotional openness or being tender or vulnerable. In fact, when they do that, they can get shut down or made fun of. So why would any guy do that, right? But they are permitted and even praised around sexual connection. So in relationships, this pattern stays around. Sex equals a safe and very masculine approved way to ask for love, validation, and closeness. When a wife says, I want to feel emotionally close first before we get in the bedroom, a husband who's been socialized to see sex as the way to connect may literally feel somewhat confused, hurt, or even rejected. I've seen this firsthand in couple sessions. They really do feel like it is a rejection of them. And it's not because he doesn't care emotionally, but because he's never taught how to build that bridge without sex as the vehicle. So it's actually quite uncomfortable. In long-term relationships, men report that sexual rejection feels like rejection of themselves as a person. And you mentioned that you know your husband feels it's a rejection of him when you're not interested in exploring new things or doing it more often or initiating. But you more likely need to feel some emotional security and affection and maybe hit the brakes a little bit more on how often it's happening so that you feel like your needs are being met. So just to be clear, often men pursue sex to gain connection, but women often need connection to feel open to sex. And their type of connection is more emotional and mental. The mismatch leads to hurt on both sides if it's not understood. Let's talk about your husband's need to be wanted by you. And you mentioned that he desires for you to initiate and you to bring up things, but you're just oversatiated, so it's really hard to be creative. For many men, being wanted sexually by their partner is tied directly to their sense of self-worth. So that makes it even more difficult. Like, I love you and you matter and you are worthy and you are awesome and you are valued, but I'm exhausted. I don't want it anymore. And for women, desire is more context dependent, right? So it's like feeling loved, feeling seen, feeling respected. And right now, if that kind of feels like that has to be pushed to the side because your partner wants sex more, that makes it even more difficult. So this is why kind of a duty-based or obligation sex doesn't fuel intimacy for women, right? Like we're not like, yes, this makes me even more excited and creative. It actually bypasses the emotional groundwork that we need. So this is creating more of a divide between us and our partners when we don't have a better balance. So a difficult piece to this is that your husband actually really needs to work on soothing his own emotions. Men who use sex to regulate emotional insecurity may struggle if their partner says no because it feels like they themselves are being invalidated. But that's about him recognizing this and figuring out what to do about it. It's important that he learns that he can be vulnerable and express needs directly, not only through physical touch. So neither of you are wrong in what you need. There's a lot of conditioning here around how men are allowed to connect with their partners and feel connected, right? When we're conditioned this way, we start to believe this is true. You're just running on different systems for how you seek and feel love. So more education on this actually would really be helpful. So the key is emotional attunement, like getting your needs met and your emotional desires met before going like, okay, now we need to go have sex, will be key for you. And for him to learn that sex is his emotional language, these two things can coexist. And they can thrive, but both partners have to be aware of this dance, and he needs to be meeting your needs as well. And I want to go back to real quick obligation sex. Our desire cannot thrive with an undercurrent of obligation, duty, or pressure. I'm supposed to, I have to, this makes them feel better. When you say, off kilter, you're overly satiated, that's a huge insight right there. If you're saying yes out of duty, you're actually suppressing authentic desire from you even more. Faking enthusiasm does not lead to connection, right? It actually creates disconnection. And again, that wall between us. And it's like, ugh, really? Again? So authentic connection matters more than frequency. And having that conversation with your partner about what your needs are and helping him to understand that having sex should not be the only way that he feels valued and desired by you. And you want to help him to find other ways too, right? This is collaboration. How can we work together to find ways that you feel desired and connected to me that aren't just about me initiating sex because it's pushing me away at times? That can be a great conversation starter for some deep awareness for both of you. The key isn't just about having more sex, right? It's about feeling seen and understood and feeling safe. And you need your partner to see those things too, right? Like, hi, this isn't my desire level. Would it be okay if we do these things? And your emotional needs of feeling desired and connected with me can be met in other ways. Let's explore those ways, like we said earlier. So your husband may feel unwanted because he's focused on the quantity. But the real opportunity is to deepen quality and emotional safety between the two of you. And that takes both of you feeling that way. Right now, there's a painful compromise loop between the two of you. Each of you is having to give up, in a sense, something important to yourselves. But neither of you is truly feeling fulfilled in some ways, right? There's just always a sense of not enough or not the way you want it, or I wish my needs would be focused on as well, and they're not physical. So I want you guys to shift the frame from compromise, where someone tends to lose, to collaboration, where both of you feel valued, right? Like, how do we work on this together? How do we get both of our needs met? And also bring in that sense of vulnerability, the sense of being desired and connected and valued that can show up in non-sexual ways. This can open the door for creative solutions between the two of you, right? That goes beyond frequency. And you can think about sensual touch. You can think about flirtation without expectation. That can be really difficult when there's a habit of when I flirt, then we get to have this thing. So be aware of that and communicate those needs. If he shares, it's really difficult for me when I flirt with you and you flirt back, and then it's not going to happen tonight when it used to. Being able to have those conversations is key. I think it would be really important for you as well to get really clear on what your needs are. Is it more alone time, right? Is it more cuddling? Is it more deep conversations? Is it more massage or doing activities together, right? What is it that would help you to feel more connected, desired, and wanted by him in non-sexual ways? And you both need to give each other the permission to be honest. So here are the key things I want us all to remember, not just off kilter. Desire isn't a problem to fix. It's really an energy to nurture. And the more we're aware of what our energy level is around desire, the more we start to see what is it that would help us to have more desire. Or, you know what, I'm really happy with my desire level. And how can we get you in a place that you're more comfortable with my desire level too? More sex does not equal better connection. A lot of people think this. Well, if we'd have sex more often, we feel more connected. Actually, no. Quality and emotional attunement matter way more. And it's not about matching each other's drive exactly. It's about feeling desired, feeling respected, and also feeling free, right? Feeling some sense of, I'm allowed to not want this. I am free to make those choices. I want you guys collaborating over compromising, creating solutions together versus one of you feeling like the other needs to fulfill their needs of desire or connection or value just because you're having sex together. I think off kilter, one of the key things you said is that if I'm already having sex way more often than I desire it, then any interest from me would be fake. And that's such a big piece. We don't want to come to sexual activity with our partner with a sense of, I've got to be fake to make them happy, right? Sexual activity is very vulnerable. It can bring us into such a greater connection and alignment, but we both have to be coming to it authentically. So having this conversation with your partner about, I don't want to have to come to our sexual activities fake. I don't want to have to fake it. I don't want to have to fake like I'm enjoying it. How do we start to get in a place where some of these needs that you have can be met in other ways that are emotionally and mentally activating, not just physically? Okay, off kilter and dear listeners, I hope you found this episode to be enlightening, helpful, and to give you some clues to some things that can be improved in your own communication with your partner around sex and sexual desire. The more we can collaborate together on this, the more we can have these conversations, the better sex we're going to be having, and the deeper connection we're both going to feel because we will be getting all of our needs met. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Relationship Reset. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need it too. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. It helps more couples discover these tools to rebuild their connection too. And be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. It's gonna be a good one. Your relationship is worth the work, and the rewards, totally worth the effort. See you next week.